But we in Canada are not unique among advanced economies in having slower growth since 2007. The UK, represented in the dark green line in the chart, the EU and European Union, the light green line, also suffered the same productivity same productivity downturn as Canada, which is shown on the red on this chart. Only the US, the top line, seems to have generated faster productivity growth since the great financial crisis. How can this be so? The answer is that the US has allocated a much higher share of GDP to investment in precisely those assets which generate high productivity gains. The length of the bars on the chart, are the shares of GDP that are saved. The dark blue bar at the top of each country, and the colored bar, the amount invested as a share of GDP in each country. It is interesting to note that the U.S., that the Americans actually saved less as a share of GDP than all other countries other than the UK, measured by the length of those colored bars on the chart. And the US invested less in housing, the green portion of the colored investment bar, and in non-residential structures, the red portion of that bar, than most other countries, including Canada. But the US invested substantially more as a share of GDP in equipment, machinery, and intellectual property than all others. That's the blue share of the investment bar. This can be seen by the disproportionately long light blue share of the investment bar, significantly longer than that in any other non-Asian country. In other words, the Americans have equipped their workers with more and better quality tools to work with than others did, and hence have achieved better results. For example, a stunning $18,000 a year annual investment per worker in the 21-22 period. That's the dark blue bar at the top of each country on this chart. That compares to much lower amounts, including for Canada at the bottom of the heap, only $6,400 a year since COVID. Now, at this point, I simply observe that this emphasis on investment in machinery, equipment, IP, and software has accounted for the result that the U.S. has grown GDP and incomes much faster than Canada has done, especially since COVID. American business has demonstrated a capacity to adjust and redeploy investment into high productivity equipment and IP very quickly, and to abandon low productivity investment as markets change. We in Canada would do well to learn from this observation. Now, as a result of this adaptability and strong productivity performance, the U.S. recovered much more quickly from the shock of COVID than did Europe and most of the rest of us, including Canada. And by 2023, the U.S. was well positioned for future growth. So now let us turn to the outlook for global growth and then to the outlook for growth in North America.